Hello, Vassia. I'm so excited that you're here today.
Yeah, so am I. The second time we meet again,
Yeah,
eh?
it's the second time we're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think, this topic is just so important. And I'm so happy that and glad that I found you actually through a networking event in Amsterdam. And yeah, so today we're going to talk all about how to let go of perfectionism in order to prevent burnout. And I think it's not just to prevent burnout. There's just so much more. When you really let go of the perfectionism, I think you just create a so more fulfilling and relaxing and easeful, peaceful life. So I thought maybe
Exactly.
we can just start off with you introducing yourself to my audience.
Well, my name is Vassia Sarantopoulou. As you can understand from my long last name, I'm Greek. Even though the usual joke that I make, I don't like feta cheese and olives. Uh,
Ah,
Um, I discovered my passion for the topic of perfectionism because I could see a common thread in my clients that I would see in my practice, that they would come with anxiety and depression. And I would see that all of them had this common thread of thinking about themselves really negatively, the self-criticism, the self-doubt, but also, as you said, the never feeling enough and enjoying their lives and creating meaningful lives. So then I focused more on that topic, perfectionism. I could see that one of the most severe consequences of perfectionism was burnout. So then I created programs so that I can support people recover from burnout, but not only recover, but never have it again. So really work on a transformation and foundational level. And we are here together talking about that. But also another thing that led me to that is my own perfectionism. I'm also a recovering perfectionist. And to give you an example, it was during the pandemic that I decided to create my first online course on perfectionism. And it took me 2 years for something that I could have done in 2 weeks. And that
oh,
was purely because of my perfectionism. Like, what am I doing here? But once a perfectionist, always a perfectionist. We will always have this um, inner voice that always guides us to something better, to making our lives better and more successful. But of course, there is a thin line between the healthy and the not healthy perfectionism.
yeah, and I want to ask you all about that just now. I just want to quickly introduce myself to your audience as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a career coach, and I help women who've been in a burnout in the past to really discover what it is that they truly want. So a lot of the women that come to me, they're feeling stuck in their career. Like I said, they've had a burnout in the past, so they come back to work and they realize, I don't want this anymore. Like I've changed. I want something more meaningful, more fulfilling, but what? I don't know. And then, through my coaching program, I really help them discover who am I really behind all the masks I wear, and trying to please people and fit in. What am I really my natural skills, talents? What am I really passionate about? And once they've discovered what they want to do, then we really take action towards getting that new career or starting that study or maybe starting their own business. Yeah.
That's
So
so important.
yeah, and I think like the burnout, it just sort of came on my path that so many women came to me and said, yeah, I've experienced a burnout in the past. So it was just a natural
Mm,
thing that happened because before I
mm,
was just a general career coach, but now it's
yeah.
like, well, this is really quite a serious problem. How many women have experienced it, and not only once, some have experienced it twice or even
Yeah.
more. And yeah, I definitely think it's a lot of times linked to perfectionism. So that actually leads me to my first question to you, because what is it really, at its core, and how does it differ from simply striving for excellence? Because I think a lot of women also, they might think, but I'm just trying to do a really great job. I don't think they might even know that they have this or that they are perfectionists.
Yeah, exactly. And many of my clients or people that I talk to, they say to me like, and what's wrong in being a perfectionist? I wanna be good at what I'm doing. So at its core, when we're talking about perfectionism, we are talking about the relentless pursuit of a constantly moving goal. That's one element, the constantly moving goal and the relentless pursuit of this. Like, you set a goal, you meet that goal, but you don't realize, or you don't stay there, you don't celebrate. Immediately you set another one, and then another one, and then another one. So it never feels like you have achieved or that this is enough.
Mm.
The second element is the fear of failure. So that relentless pursuit of this moving goal is always followed by the fear of failure. What if I fail? What if I make a mistake? I need to compensate for my mistake. I need to work harder. And of course, the third element, the harsh self-judgment. So that's the difference. Perfectionism is not just about doing well. It's also the shame and the self-criticism that we carry that whatever we have done so far is not enough. While on the other side, as you said, the striving for excellence, which is also something that was in their research of Stuber and Otto, they first made this distinction between the healthy and the unhealthy perfectionism. So they said that this striving for excellence means that I embrace growth, but also I love learning from my mistakes. I'm not scared of my mistakes. I am motivated into growing instead of feeling defeated into growing. And I understand that progress is more important than perfection. I look at what I do every single day and how I'm already better from my yesterday version than instead of looking always at what else is there in order to achieve and feeling less in comparison to my future version.
I think it's really that voice inside your head, like how kindly you speak to yourself, because we can be something so uh hard on ourselves and so tough. Oh, see,
Yeah,
you should have done it like this, and why did you make that mistake again, and things like that.
yeah, absolutely. And you see that also in your clients, yeah?
Very
This,
much so.
yeah,
So in the beginning, we always do like a talent scan, which is like a personality test, and I think almost all of them are perfectionists.
yeah,
So set the bar higher and higher each time. Um, and it also really has to do with that doing that for the outside world. So really trying to belong, pleasing, wanting their parents to be really proud of them, wanting to belong to their friends, wanting to be liked, accepted, and fit in. Um,
yeah, exactly. Which is a little bit of the expectations of the previous generation, eh? But have you noticed any difference in how the expectations around work and career have evolved for women, or it's just the same?
Yes, because I think there's a big shift, because I think in the olden days, people, the women really wanted to excel and also be in the household, be really like the parent and doing everything. And I think a lot of women have realized that they don't want to live their life like this anymore. And with my clients, they really come to realize how much they've been doing all this for the outside world, always putting themselves second. And I kind of feel like the women that come to me now have had enough. They're
Mm.
tired. They don't want to live their life anymore like this. And
Yeah,
they want something different. They want something more meaningful, more fulfilling, and also more flexibility. I think what Corona did also made a huge shift, that people saw, I can work from home. Interesting. And I think now everybody wants you to go back to work, and I see a lot of resistance with women. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. Maybe 1 or 2 days, but I love the freedom. I want more freedom. I want more flexibility. I want more work-life balance. I want to be able to spend more time with my kids. So I do think that there is a big shift to really prioritizing your mental health. Whereas in all the days it wasn't really spoken about,
true.
about mental health and depression and all those things. And now it's becoming much more common and open. Yeah, which I think is a really good thing.
It is. Yeah, finally.
And why do you think it's so common with women, specifically? And how do you think societal expectations play a role?
I think it's also related to what you said before about, the previous generations. The previous generations had a very, the women in previous generations, they had a very clear role that they would be the caregivers, and they would be responsible for the household. And then men would be responsible for, like all the rest, the financial, let's say, security and stability in the family. And then we shifted to our generation where it's not that we changed roles, we just added roles on top of the ones that we already had. I think it's I think we're in this transition where we are figuring out what are we going to do with the previous roles. We're feeling shame, we're feeling guilty when we are not as good mothers or housekeepers or whatever the role of the previous generation. We also have our mothers in our, minds reminding us, oh, you didn't clean your house every day, or you didn't prepare dinner for your family. So we have this voice that really guilt trip us. So we are in this transition phase where we realize, like, what of all these roles, which ones I'm going to keep and which ones I'm going to leave behind, but also work with the guilt that I have for leaving them behind. And for sure, there's going to be some grieving moment, because I am not going to be the traditional mother. I don't want anymore. I have lived with a traditional mother. I understand what it means for that generation, but I'm not going to be. So this letting go is not as easy as it sounds. So there's going to be some transition. Probably the next generation will do that even more easily than our generation. But I think it's this how to say, conscious decision. It's not like we have to leave motherhood and caring for the family behind, but it's more about we are making this decision more consciously now. Yes, I want to be taking care of my family and I will devote that. Or yes, I want to hold both of them without perfectionizing it. Or yes, I want to put more emphasis on my career and be a good leader. But whatever it is, there's no right or wrong. I am going to be mindful about that and I will decide based on my values and not somebody else's values.
I think that's a very good point, what you stated now about really knowing what your values are, because a lot of people are not even clear
Yeah.
what that is. And that's really part of the journey of self-discovery, to find out what are my values really, and am I living according to my values, or something, or am I, living a completely different life, maybe someone else's dream. And I think that that also comes really down to mindset again, like, um, how can I stop feeling so guilty? How can I reframe my beliefs? Because that's what's so powerful, that all the beliefs that you have, you can actually change them. But yeah, you have to put in the work.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
is really possible to have a different, to maybe look at the world through different lenses, through different glasses, and then you'll see
yeah.
that it will start to eventually change.
Yeah, exactly. And it's what you said before about the mask. When you're living your life according to somebody else's values, you are creating a mask, and you are not authentic with your family. You are choosing a career that you don't really like. Maybe it was what your family expected from you, but not what you enjoyed. And then you live this life with this mask, but then eventually, either because of a burnout or because of any other pressure, immense pressure, you realize that's not me. And then working with a coach or with a psychologist makes you go back and reinvent yourself.
When I was younger, I was doing everything to build up my CV in the hope of one day landing that dream job. Meanwhile, it wasn't quite clear even what that was. But I would like be part of all these committees and things also during my studies. And I didn't like it. I wasn't enjoying it at all. But I thought it will be good to do this, because then I can put it on my CV that I was part of this. It will land me a better job later.
Mhm.
Looking back now, I'm like, whoa, I did so much for this outside status, title, um, and absolutely my happiness and being fulfilled, that was not important to me. It was the outside picture that was what really important.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's also what you said before about, like now we put more emphasis in these elements of our lives, mental health and happiness, which was not happening again in the past. In the past, it was all about finding a stable job, an income for your family, building a house, getting all the material stability and security in your life. It was more of the survival mode back then that was important. But now we have escaped that survival mode and we want quality in our life. And quality means mental health, inner peace, happiness, joy, fulfillment. That's our goal now.
It's amazing, right? And I can already hear my like parents and things, people thinking like, but you just meant to work. Work's not meant to be fun. Like, I've also heard so many of these phrases when I was young. You just meant to put bread on the table.
Yeah.
And it's just such a shift. And I'm so happy that people are waking up to this new reality that you can actually really have a career that's fulfilling and exciting.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm curious to know also for the way you're working, how do you integrate this emotional well-being together with the career process in order to ensure that your clients are really on the new career post, the path that they envision and they enjoy?
Yeah, I think it actually is quite a big part. I think they're always quite shocked during the
Mm.
program, like, wow, you didn't only help me find a new career, but I feel like a new person, like more confident and things like that.
Yes.
So basically, in the beginning, we also do the wheel of life to see all areas of their life where they feel like they're not living to their highest potential, kind of thing. And so we always set 2 to 3 goals, and one of them will be finding a meaningful career. And the other one, actually, they can choose themselves, but it's always something to do with confidence or having more work-life balance, having more time for self-care. Um, and in the end of the day, then it all, of course, we incorporate things like doing meditation and doing yoga and getting more exercise and eating healthy, all that stuff. But I think the main part is really the mindset work. So I use different methods, like, for example, Byron Katie. I don't know if you've heard of, but the
Hmm.
work is really amazing. It's helped. So
Yeah.
basically, all the tools, all the things that really help me,
Yeah.
um, I help my clients with that. Um, yeah, because I think that's the probably one of the main things, to reframe those limiting beliefs, to
Exactly.
look at your fears through a different lens.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah, I love your book. I like the way that she's working. It is very much CBT based, because as you said, the cognitive restructuring and the reframing of the narrative that we have in our life and how we have constructed the mask and all these values that we don't believe in. But then when you go back to the beginning and you restructure that and when you create the new beliefs and then the new values, then it all makes sense again.
100%. And
Yeah.
what I do also see with a lot of my clients do before they start coaching with me, also because they've experienced a burnout, that they first go into therapy. So they see a psychiatrist, they deal with all the things that happened in the past. And then once they feel ready, then I feel like they're also more fresh for coaching. Not all of them, but some of them. And also what I see happening a lot is alternative therapies, like, for example, doing hypnotherapy,
Mm,
EMR. So I feel like a lot of women are also more open to these kind of alternative ways of kind of healing themselves and reframing their thinking, reframing the way
exactly.
they
Yeah. Yeah, because there's one important element, what you said about the cognitive and the changing the limiting beliefs. But at the same time, we know that all this stress of these years is stored in our body. So the new approaches, they're also integrating the somatic experience, the body experience, so that you can facilitate this change even faster in your life.
and yeah, I'm also curious about how you help your clients break free from perfectionism and avoid burnout.
I also work in the same, holistic way where we do work on identifying the patterns. Um, for me, also perfectionism is a trauma response, which means that if you have ended up here today depriving yourself from joy, fulfillment, meaning, rest, they don't even allow themselves to take a break. If you have deprived yourself of all these basic needs for decades, what happened really in the past that made you run on the treadmill every day without stopping? So we also revisit the past a little bit so that we can connect the dots. And then with all these techniques, we heal a little bit from that lessons learned that we learned there that made us be in this hamster wheel all the time. So we do change the beliefs. We also allow the nervous system to rest, to change from the fight or flight response into a more safe mode. And then we incorporate, routines and new habits for sleep, for the right amount of break and nutrition as well. And of course we make it very experiential. So every day it's not about only changing your beliefs, but how are you going to challenge these old beliefs in your real life? What is happening when your boss, for example, is asking you, or a colleague is asking you for a favor to help them in their project, but you have zero time and zero energy? So how are you going to take what we learned in therapy about boundaries and about protecting your energy and put it out there in the real environment? So it's a mixture of emotional, experiential, and of course cognitive techniques that we incorporate.
Yeah, I think with in my coaching, we also really talk about how we can set boundaries, how we can stop people pleasing and learn to say no, because a lot of us women find it really difficult.
Yeah.
But as soon as we realize, we're very clear on what it is that we really want to achieve, and you know exactly the steps that you need to take, eventually you're going to have to choose yourself at one point, because otherwise you're not going to reach that goal, and it's going to be frustrating. And that was exactly for me as well. I also had to start uh changing,
Mm.
which is crazy, because if I now think, looking back on how I was a couple of years ago, it's like I've become such a different person.
Yeah.
Slowly, like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
acting.
and and it's this resentment that we feel, and not only we are pleasing others, but then after some time where we make so much space for them and for their goals, and we see them progressing, others are progressing, but we feel the resentment like, oh, they're progressing, but I haven't done anything for my career. I haven't done anything for my dreams. I haven't done anything for the things that I like. Because of this guilt that if I care and I make space for me, I'm selfish. Look what I did. I said no to a friend. I'm a selfish person. I'm not a kind person. So we have this again, this self-criticism so strong.
So crazy.
Mm,
And so you said what you said before is okay. I think the perfectionism will always sort of be in us, because if you're born perfect, you can like recover, be sort of recovering. But I think it's got more to do with changing the mindset, like setting the boundaries, not talking different to yourself, being kinder to you, practicing self-love, self-acceptance.
yeah,
Then so it's more like learning to cope with who you are, kind of thing, and being.
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Embracing your true self, not the mask that we said before or the facade that we created for society, but embracing our true self, which is already there, but we have hidden many parts of this because we think that they're not useful, they're not accepted, they're not lovable. So then we put them on the spotlight and then we practice self-compassion, which is, by the way, it sounds more simple than it is, especially with people with a very strong inner critic. In the first sessions that we practice self-compassion, they really cringe, like, oh, I cannot do that. Oh, it's weird. Why would I practice that? Because they interpret it as pity, self-pity, or weakness, or being soft on myself, or allowing myself, excusing myself, justifying myself, being lazy, for example. So again, the reframing and the mindset, that all these years that you have been doubting yourself or criticizing yourself, did it work? Here you are with a burnout and with a stagnating career. So probably not. So let's try another way because probably that's going to work.
Yeah, and automatically by working on yourself like this and being kinder to yourself, you will prevent the burnout, because you won't allow yourself to not take a break. You won't allow yourself to overachieve and help everybody else. You're going to be like, no, I'm now going to really take better care of myself. I'm not going to
Yeah.
let this ever again to me.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not,
Personality change.
sorry?
Like it's like a kind of like a personality change. You're changing who you are, like you becoming a new version of yourself.
Yeah, you're becoming your discovering the full, let's say, version of your personality, and you're changing your coping modes, because before the coping mechanism was, I made a mistake, let me try double now, which is what is doing. But now it's going to be, I made a mistake, okay, let me learn from this, and then keep going in the same way, in the same, let's say, um, with the same effort that I did before.
I think that's really like exactly the growth mindset, you know, the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. People
Yeah.
with a fixed mindset, they really so hard on themselves. And if they fail, they like, okay, we'll see, I can't do it. And then they give up. Whereas someone with a growth mindset, okay, well, I learned, I'm going to try again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah.
And if you know, just want to end off really with I'm sure a lot of women here are listening, you know, feeling stuck or watching, feeling stuck in their career because of perfectionism or burnout. Do you have any piece of advice for them? Yeah, what they can start doing today, or anything you want to tell them?
Um,
We've
I
covered
would,
so much already, but
yeah, we said already, yeah, 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 indeed, indeed. Um, First of all, I know that it's something that feels very uncomfortable when you're stuck in your career. Like maybe I did something wrong, or maybe why I'm experiencing this. I don't want this. I don't want to feel stuck in my career. But then again, using the reframing strategy that we said before, maybe that's a good thing that we are stuck in a career so that we can take this break, stop for a moment, pause, and see, but why is this happening? It's not necessarily because I am not talented or competent or smart enough, but maybe this is saying something to me. That maybe I'm going to the wrong direction. Maybe I need to change direction. Maybe I don't have a career that is aligned with my values. I remember I was working with a man many years ago, and he was in his 50s, and he said to me that I got a fantastic proposal for a promotion to a position that will give me, more responsibilities, but also more money, and it's the position that I've always wanted. But I don't know whether I should take it. So then we put aside a little bit this dilemma, take it or not take it, but we work a little bit with the values. Like, what are the values of the person that would take that promotion? And then we talked about growth, adventure, expansion, focus on professional development. And what would be the values of the person that would not take that promotion? Maybe family, maybe personal time, maybe stability, peace in your life. So, in which of these set of values do you see yourself? So, after thinking about that, and of course, I presented in a few seconds, but it was, like a few sessions with him. And he said, you know what, Vasya, I'm 55 years old. I've had a lot of adventures in regards to my career. I really want to take it slowly. I want to enjoy my family time. I really want to practice my hobbies. I have two fantastic hobbies that I love practicing in my free time. To be honest, I don't want this extra stress. So for him, the decision was really easy after he realized what kind of values he wants to live the rest of his, um, career life. So these kind of moments, either you're feeling stuck or you are facing a dilemma, career dilemma, they're not necessarily bad. They might bring something useful, a useful awareness. They're more like existential questions where they invite us to think what is really important for us. What does give meaning? What is meaningful for our lives? And we take that opportunity and we make the most out of it.
yeah, I think in hindsight, sometimes actually the best thing that can happen to you, you know, like having a burnout or being fired from your job or something, because it really forces you to go into a different direction to really think. And that's what I
Yeah.
also love about coaching and so powerful. Like when you're by yourself and you have like, should I take the job or not, just like you feel really stuck. But a coach can ask you such inspirational and inspiring and questions uh,
Mm.
that actually gets you to the answers. I just find it always so fascinating how it works. I mean, I've also coached with many coaches myself when I was,
Yeah,
and it's just incredible. Like through certain questions, everything becomes clear.
yeah. And have you worked with people that with your career coaching, they eventually realize that what they like doing is completely different than what they were doing before? Have you
Yes,
seen
100%.
that? Yeah.
Actually, quite big career changes.
Yeah.
So one lady was, for example, marketing. She became an interior designer. I had another client who was in like what it was, project engineering, but she thought she wanted to become a vet, but actually now she's giving dance classes. So
Wow.
completely different. So, through the coaching, she thought she really wanted to become a vet, but then through doing more research, it's like, you know what? Actually, I don't see myself doing this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. Wow,
and that's
incredible.
okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes things can also be a stepping stone um, to something else. For example, my own experience, I knew that I wanted to get away from the corporate world, and I had this idea when I become a beautician. So I
Mm.
did the course, I did an internship in it, and then I realized, no, I'm missing, the head. Like I love psychology. I'm missing that. I want to know, I love asking people questions and figuring out what makes them tick, like what's behind them.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
but if I never did so I don't never regret having done that studies, because I feel like through doing that, I realized this is also not it, but now I do know what I want, kind of thing. So to me, it really was a stepping stone.
Exactly, exactly. Incredible, huh? Yeah,
Incredible.
life is full of surprises.
Yes. Very big surprises. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Great.
Hey, amazing. Thank you so much for chatting to me today. I really enjoyed it. And I'm sure that the people watching have also learned really a lot and can also start implementing some things already just by being kinder to themselves.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Well, one step at a time. That's the antidote to perfectionism.
Yes. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you for the invitation. You too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.